surfing is one of the only sports in the world that forces you to hold your breath over and over against your will. So understanding how to properly hold your breath and understanding what incorporates a breath hold is really going to go a long way. And the difference between knowing this and not knowing this could be putting yourself in a really scary situation or giving yourself the confidence to surf better and better waves and obviously stay safer in the ocean. So breath holding technique has two sides. There's the tolerances and the technique. Now the tolerances is how tolerant your body is to having high CO2 and low oxygen. Also, less talked about is the pain tolerance because it's super uncomfortable to hold your breath, so you have to be familiar with these things. So starting with CO2. CO2, when you breathe in oxygen, it's converted to CO2 and it builds up and your body wants to expel it. So that's what gives you the urge to breathe. So if you have a really, really low tolerance to CO2, you'll get that urge to breathe super, super fast. In order to build this, you gotta learn how to have CO2 in your body and push yourself in that way. The best way to do this, that's super, super simple, is just to exercise by breathing through your nose. So when you get tired and your body starts telling you to expel that CO2, just continue to breathe through your nose and stay disciplined in it. You'll feel that urge to breathe through your mouth, but as you force yourself to breathe through your nose, your body will start to build CO2 up in its bloodstream and you will build that tolerance, and it actually happens really quick. Your body is a really, really great adaptation machine. So if you do this consistently, that'll build really, really fast. Now the second side is having a tolerance to low levels of oxygen. That is exactly what it sounds like. So you just want to, what I teach is something that I call low oxygen training, and that's to work out on an exhale. So you expel all the oxygen, hold your breath on the exhale with no oxygen, so you deplete it from your body, and then you exercise. Do whatever kind of work you're going to be doing, whether it be walking, running, weightlifting, anything works. And then after you get that, you feel start to get not lightheaded, but you'll feel the urge to breathe really, really, really fast because you have no oxygen. And then you start breathing, and then you continue your workout as you're recovering. So your body is really, really low on oxygen, and you start to adapt to that. Now the CO2 part is really, really important because as you learn to hold, as you do actual breath hold training, practicing your breath hold, you will see that there's certain points where at the beginning you feel like you don't have to breathe at all. It's really, really easy. And then you get a strong urge to breathe. And then there's the last third where you are really, really low on oxygen. You'll have involuntary convulsions of your diaphragm trying to bring oxygen in. That's just your lizard part of your brain reacting. But if you are unable to get to that point in a breath hold where you get those involuntary convulsions, that's because you have a really low tolerance to CO2, because you get that urge to breathe way before you get to your body's actual capacity for holding its breath. So it's important to cover both of those sides. Now the pain tolerance side that nobody ever talks about is even more important, because if you never practice a full breath hold and actually feel what those pain feelings are like, and you get that for the very first time in the water, you'll panic. And then that's how you'll end up drowning or getting in a really scary situation. So you have to be able to stay calm while you're feeling the sensations of these low levels of oxygen, high levels of CO2, and these levels of pain. So understanding that, becoming familiar with it, are going to really increase your breath hold time. Now the second side is the actual breath holding technique. Now, if you don't have your technique right, none of those tolerances even matter. And the technique goes to the actual inhale, so getting the oxygen, but then keeping the oxygen, so that's staying calm. Now, number one for taking the inhale, if you can, you want to take an inhale with your nose. So let's say that you're caught inside and the wave's coming and you have a few minutes to recover. You don't want to be going, and I see lots of people doing this. Like surfing is so much more popular now. You see lots of beginner surfers, lots of people that are getting thrashed around the whitewater, and you see lots of people that are so exhausted that they're just, or laying on their boards, right? So two important points. You want to take your inhale with your nose if you can. So training with your nasal breathing is going to go a long way to be you capable of this. But also you want to take your inhale with your diaphragm. So you want to look, it wants to be quick too, because a lot of the time you're not going to have time to prepare for a breath hold in the water. So you want to go as fast as you can, but you don't want to just expand your chest. So your breath hold, your inhale should look like this: bottom 2/3 from the belly, top third from your chest. So it'll look like this. And at the very end, you expand your chest. As well, if you're out in the water and you have your surfboard, you don't want to be laying on top of your surfboard. If you can put one hand on your surfboard and keep your chest open, so it allows you to expand your lungs as much as possible. And so if you can, you don't want to inhale with your mouth, and you want to inhale with your nose and with your belly. Important part of inhaling with your nose is that when all air goes through your nasal cavity, it is mixed with nitric oxide, which is a vasodilator. All that means is that it makes your body able to absorb the oxygen. So if you get it in, but you don't get it to your brain, if you don't get it to your muscles, there's no point in having that. Also, not expelling all that CO2. So you want to have a certain amount of CO2 in your bloodstream as well. There's something called the Bohr effect, spelled B-O-H-R. And so your red blood cells have oxygen attached to them and they deliver it through your body, but it won't detach from the red blood cell unless it's unless there's a right mix of CO2 as well. It'll just hold that oxygen so you don't use it. So that's super important for holding your breath. And the second side of the technique is keeping that oxygen. So it's stillness of body and stillness of mind. So that's the pain tolerance goes really, really important in this. So what you want to do, what I do always is when I hold my breath, I always just go like this. I just protect my head so when you get thrashed around, you can stay really calm. Another important part of not doing a chest breath is that it goes a long way to staying calm. If you have take a chest breath and you have tension in your neck and in your face, that can actually trigger the fight or flight response because your body can only work with the information that you give it. So your nervous system. So if you are making a pain face when you're holding your breath, or you're getting thrashed around, or you have tightness in your chest or neck, that triggers a fight or flight response. Your nervous system thinks, okay, we're in trouble. And then that can release adrenaline, which increases your heart rate, which burns oxygen faster. So that's what you don't want. So you want to conserve your oxygen. So you take that belly breath, keep relax in your neck and chest and in your face. Don't make a pain face. So just stay relaxed. And I always go like this. The reason I started protecting my head, even almost every single situation, I'll protect my head in that way. My cousin, one time when she was surfing, it was really small waves. She was surfing a longboard, just a super fun, chill day, and she got hit in the head with her board, cracked her skull, and she had cerebral spinal fluid dripping out of her ear. She was messed up. And that was in the tiniest, most chill waves ever. So I've always protected my head, even in the smallest waves. And that's really, really helped my breath hold time too. So no matter how much you get thrashed, you're upside down and you don't know where you are, you're actually in a really safe position and you're able to keep stillness of body and mind like I talked about. Now this is really important stuff and it's super, super simple. If you want to learn more about breath holding, I have a free breath hold challenge. Each day I'll send you a different tip to show you how to increase your stressed breath hold time. That's holding your breath under stress like you will in a real surfing situation. And most people get either 50 to 100% increase in their breath hold time in 1 week. So you can double your breath hold time in as little as 7 days. It's super, super simple and it's free. So if you want that, there'll be a link down in the description or in my bio, wherever you're watching this video. And you can get involved in that right now and it's all free and you can really, really increase your breath hold time. And like I said, the difference between knowing this stuff and not knowing this stuff is being in a really, really scary position or having confidence to surf better and better waves. My name is Kyle Russ. This is Hydro Mind. Thanks a lot for watching.